Border bungle, police admit they're to blame. Tonight, tourists escorted onto a flight to Melbourne instead of hotel quarantine. The major embarrassment, now COVID alerts for passengers. Pub punch-up, the Canberra raider left bloodied and bruised and charged with assaulting officers. A driver arrested accused of deliberately running down a cyclist. Trump's so-called victory rally, 100 minutes on stage, doubling down on rigging claims. From an asteroid to the outback, the successful mission hoping to unlock our solar system's secrets. An anthem first. Sung in the Eora language by a proud Western Sydney schoolgirl. And the big setback for Australia 11 days before the first test.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. New South Wales police say they're to blame after two potentially COVID-infected passengers were allowed to travel to Melbourne bypassing hotel quarantine. The pair was only discovered by chance. Police now promising to double down on efforts to stop it happening again.
It's a security breach that shocked authorities and exposed a dangerous flaw in the system.
Oh, look, it's not a good look.
A 53-year-old woman and her 15-year-old son flew from Germany via Tokyo into Sydney, then bypassed supposedly strict security and got onto a flight to Melbourne carrying 176 passengers and crew.
A comprehensive public health response is now underway.
The pair discovered after being overheard by a security guard.
There are multiple rings of containment within the quarantine and border system.
But the Victorian Premier says it was blind luck.
So there was some good fortune there, and sometimes you need a little bit of that.
This afternoon, New South Wales police handed themselves in, saying it was a misunderstanding.
We're not suggesting that they lied. There was a language barrier, there was communication issues, and the police officer has admitted the mistake that he didn't check the appropriate exemption forms.
Well, it's not the gold standard, but fortunately, both of them were not positive.
Last night, authorities texted all passengers from Virgin flight VA838, which left Sydney at midday yesterday, to stay home until further contact. This is the walkway that all returning international passengers will use when they arrive here in Sydney. Authorities will double-check their permits before they're loaded onto buses and they head off to hotel quarantine. Now that police know how these two skipped this process, they've said they'll work to ensure that it never happens again.
If people say, look, I'm not getting on the bus, I've got an exemption, I can tell you now it'll be doubled down, it'll be certainly double-checked.
There's also a doubling of crowd numbers, as tomorrow marks Freedom Day. Pubs and restaurants will double patronage to one person per 2 square metres, up to 50 people on dance floors, stadiums and outdoor theatres back to full capacity. 100 people can meet outside, up from 50. Places of worship can also double their congregations, their prayers answered. Peter Fegan, 7 News.
Up-and-coming Raiders hooker Tom Starling has been charged with assaulting and resisting police during a wild brawl at a Central Coast pub. A senior constable was injured. The young player left bloodied and bruised.
The end of an ugly night. Young raider Tom Starling tries to struggle out of the grip of a security guard. Behind him, the fight is on. The riot squad tries to defuse the situation. The 22-year-old today left bruised and bloodied on a night that should have been a celebration. He'd been out for the 21st birthday of Fletcher Watson, brother of Knights player Connor, at the Shady Palms bar in Kincumber. Knights star Kalen Ponga was also there but not involved. Starling appeared to be having a good time, but police say it turned violent when one of the group was asked to leave but refused, and that they were confronted with nothing but aggression. Starling now faces 7 charges, including 5 counts of assaulting police. 3 of his mates were also slapped with similar charges. Police say several of the officers were assaulted more than once by all of the alleged offenders, but that only one officer was injured, suffering a cut to his hand. Starling's 20-year-old mate was the only person taken to hospital last night for a cut he suffered to his arm. In a statement, the Raiders said it had informed the NRL Integrity Unit, which is liaising with police. All 4 men were granted bail and will face court in January. Tom Saker, 7 News.
There are reports Jack de Belin has undergone surgery for testicular cancer, with the Dragons forward diagnosed earlier this year. The 29-year-old went under the knife to remove the cancer in September, 2 months before his sex assault trial began. De Belin and co-accused Callan Sinclair have pleaded not guilty to the 2018 encounter, with a retrial set for April. A cyclist is fighting for life after being run down in Newcastle in what police believe was a deliberate act. The 23-year-old woman was dragged along the road after she was hit by the car. A 25-year-old man has been charged, accused of also attacking a paramedic after trying to force his way inside an ambulance. He then allegedly kicked a police officer. The woman is in a critical condition in hospital. There are calls for the Prime Minister to step in and overturn a decision to disband the Special Air Service's 2nd Battalion. It was one of the recommendations of the inquiry into alleged war crimes. Tonight we can reveal that decision is on hold as members threaten to walk out.
Graduation day at the Defence Force Academy in Canberra. Young guns marching into an army marred by allegations of war crimes in Afghanistan.
It's been a particularly difficult year, we know.
Next Tuesday, a parade was due to be held in Perth. A farewell to the SAS Regiment's 2nd Squadron, disbanded following the Brereton war crimes report.
To adjust and then re-raise a different squadron.
But 7 News can reveal the parade has been cancelled as about 60 members of the SAS threaten to quit. Some discharge notices have already been submitted.
They're absolutely outraged at this continuation of the collective punishment that they are all being subjugated to.
It's further backlash from within the ADF community over the handling of the Afghanistan inquiry and follows widespread outrage over the decision to strip the Meritorious Unit Citation, a special award given to hundreds of special forces.
The collateral damage effect that it is having on our veteran community is enormous and not being taken into account.
Defence says it still plans to disband the regiment's 2nd Squadron when the implementation plan is fully developed, but members are now calling for the decision to be overturned.
The Prime Minister has to step in. The veteran community is hurting. Members of the Special Forces are hurting.
And crying out for support. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Donald Trump has ramped up his claims of election fraud, holding a so-called victory rally in a state he lost in last month's presidential election. But some say his presence in Georgia and his fight to overturn the vote could end up hurting his own Republican Party.
With a signature fist pump, President Trump leaves the White House jetting to Georgia for his first rally since the November 3rd election. Immediately questioning the count that delivered Democrat Joe Biden a win here by 12,000 votes.
You know, we won Georgia, just so you understand.
Election fraud claims rejected in court case after court case, dominant in Donald Trump's 100 minutes with the microphone.
They cheated and they rigged our presidential election, but we will still win it.
At one point sharing a lengthy montage of video clips to back the voter fraud claims.
It just doesn't add up.
There's no way Biden would have won the presidency.
We're going to follow the Constitution, and Trump will be our president still.
My president has a spine and a backbone, and he has stood up for the American people, and I'm going to stand up for him.
The president campaigning for 2 Republican senators in a runoff race that could shift power in the US Congress. This as the Washington Post reports only 27 of 249 Republicans in Washington acknowledge Joe Biden won the election, and President Trump wants their names. Hours before he arrived here in Georgia, the president was on the phone to the governor, urging him to help overturn the state's election result. Party officials are worried, though, these voter fraud claims could backfire and discourage Republicans from turning out to vote at all in this Senate race.
Thank you, Georgia. Get out and vote.
In Valdosta, Georgia, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
7 News can reveal state schools have hundreds of millions of dollars lying idle in bank accounts while their students miss out. It comes as the Education Department is ordered to take over the running of some schools from underperforming principals.
Teachers at Fairvale High given top marks from model students.
Helped us to be resilient, which is what we need in the real world.
But other schools are seriously struggling.
It's my expectation that the department steps up, comes in and works with the principal and the teachers.
From now on, power will be stripped from underperforming principals who waste money, don't meet new targets or see results.
The reality is we've got educational standards below countries like Estonia and Latvia.
A leaked internal report into the government's previous plan admits it lacked logic, with schools not required to report on how their spending led to better outcomes.
We know that there's more we can do to come in and support our schools.
But teachers say they're just being blamed.
What we're asking for is for governments to fulfil their obligations and to properly resource our schools and provide the support that our schools need.
Every principal I speak to wants to see improved outcomes for their students.
Part of the problem, according to the Education Department, much of the money being allocated to some of our most disadvantaged schools is simply not being spent. Principals unsure what to do with millions of dollars.
More than $700 million in total, currently sitting idle, funds the government wants spent in classrooms. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
2 men have been injured and 5 teenagers arrested following a brawl at a Bella Vista hotel. The Apollo helicopter helped track down the boys who fled from the scene late last night. They've now been released from custody as police investigate. The man tasked with approving the COVID vaccine has urged the community to think about others when deciding to get a shot. While the vaccine won't be mandatory, Professor John Skerritt from the TGA says the vaccine will have to pass rigorous safety tests before any rollout. He said those choosing not to get the vaccine should consider how it will impact the lives of people around them.
It's not something that you're doing for yourself. It's something you're doing for a wider family and for the public good. And that's why it's so important.
The TGA is expected to approve use of the vaccine next month. The Queen and Prince Philip will be among the first in line to be given the Pfizer COVID vaccine in coming weeks. The first jab in Britain is expected on Tuesday our time, but Russia claims to be a step ahead and has already begun its program.
Inside the St Petersburg lab where some of the 2 million doses of the Sputnik 5 vaccine will be made as Russia begins its round-the-clock COVID vaccination program. I feel great, this woman says. Doctors and teachers are among the first to get the jabs here, but people over 60 and those with underlying conditions won't, with questions still about whether the vaccine is safe.
Of course I had doubts, especially given that all the clinical trials haven't ended, but I decided to go ahead and protect myself with all possible options.
It's claimed the vaccine is 92% effective, but critics believe these scenes and Russia's speed in developing and rolling out a vaccine are more about politics and pride than science and safety, as Britain aims to become the first Western nation to roll out the Pfizer vaccine this week.
So I'm going to be putting it onto your upper arm.
Nurses in Coventry have been training as the vials packed in dry ice are distributed across Britain. These special freezers are being sent out across the country too. Hospital patients will be among the first to get it, along with staff at aged care homes.
It's important, and I'm pleased that I'm not going to be at risk of passing the virus on to other people, including the residents where I work and my family and friends.
But it comes with a warning. As England emerges from its lockdown, it'll take months for the vaccination program to take full effect. In London, Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.
Wallabies fans tuned in for the on-field action, but it's what happened before kick-off last night that has so many talking. For the first time on the international stage, our anthem was sung in the Eora language, a Western Sydney teenager creating plenty of goosebumps and sparking fresh debate.
16-year-old Olivia Fox making history. The Australian anthem sung first in the Eora language, then in English, a first on the international stage.
I was so excited. It still doesn't feel real, you know, I feel like I'm in a dream.
The special moment still sinking in for the Western Sydney student, a proud Wiradjuri teenager, talent and hard work making for a powerful rendition.
So a lot of work goes into it, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
On backup vocals, the Wallabies, who also practiced. nailing their big moment.
There's never a question. We're very proud to have that opportunity to do it, and I think it sounded pretty good too.
As for whether the Wallabies captain thinks the anthem should become permanent,
I guess that's going to be something that's going to be discussed.
From Indigenous former Wallaby Curtly Beale on Instagram, this was special, but not all agreed. Indigenous NRL star Latrell Mitchell posting, changing the anthem's language doesn't change the meaning. For Olivia, she sees it as a step in the right direction.
Because I want people to hear it, I want people to learn about the Indigenous culture, and, I want everyone to just unite and feel as one.
Also beaming with pride, Olivia's mum.
Forever, ever singing, ever, all the time.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Time to check the weather now. Angie, what a superb Sunday across Sydney.
Mark, conditions were just spectacular. It is still clear and very warm in the CBD, 29 degrees, and as westerly winds strengthen, humidity has also dropped significantly, currently just at 22%. Sunshine on a Sunday, of course, means plenty of scenes like this, looking very refreshing at the splash pool at the entrance a little earlier. It was a very different scene this time yesterday. An enormous storm warning area spanned most of the state, gradually contracting away to the coast and then out to sea. We recorded about 15 millimetres between the city and Central Coast. With cloud to our south and to our north, Sydney's in a pocket of very settled weather tonight. What that means for the week ahead, coming up soon, Mark.
OK, Ange, thank you. A ute driver has escaped serious injury after a motorway crash, but he didn't escape the law. Coming up, what officers found on the road following the smash on the Central Coast. Buildings burn, violence flares, another wild weekend in Paris. A streaking capsule crashes down in the outback, what it brought back from space. A palace for your puppy, the new development with your pets front and centre, that's later. And in sport, Josh Reynolds set to depart the NRL.
The Big Bash Fast Start. 7 nights in a row at 7 on 7.
That is unbelievable.
It's the biggest start ever, with every team in action.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible. They're coming from around the world to face our homegrown heroes.
It's on fire now, Chris Lynn. Maxi hits that. That's gone all the way.
Every night, every team get together and get starstruck.
The title goes to the Sydney Sixers.
The Big Bash starts Thursday on 7.
There is still magic wherever you are. Cherish those golden to us this Christmas. Fragrant hazelnuts, smooth velvety chocolate. Say it with gold. Ferrero Rocher.
Babe, but aren't we trying to save?
It was nothing.
This year, your Telstra Plus points can help make gifting more affordable.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are finding great Christmas toys. Like Winona's glider, Sean's pens, Tommy Lee's drones, and Taylor's Switch. For the greatest deals at Christmas, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Right now, you can get the LDV T60 Auto for the price of the manual. Feels good, doesn't it? The LDV T60 4x4 Diesel Auto from just $28,990. Visit an LDV dealer today.
Well, it's time for wrinkles. Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. We've got the retinol that gives you results in 1 week. Not just any retinol, accelerated retinol SA. 1 week, it's all it takes. Neutrogena.
This is not a bank ad. This is a price ad. Because I'm into homely homes, not home loans. I'd rather manage my money how I like, when I like. I'm Bryce, and I like to bank less.
Mika is a perfectionist when it comes to sculpting hedges. Just don't ask her for a short back and sides.
That's terrible.
It's amazing what you can't do. Task smarter.
Airtasker. Spread a little joy this Christmas with Ryobi. One battery powers over 100 tools, so you'll find gifts for any size project and any size budget. 1 + U equals a little joy this Christmas. Drill driver kit, $99, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
At Harvey Norman, get up to 50% off selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. The bigger the size, the bigger the deal. Up to 30% off double, up to 40% off queen, and up to 50% off king-size mattresses and ensembles from these great Australian-made brands: Sealy Posturepedic, King Coil, Beauty Rest, and Sleepmaker. Plus, take advantage of 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to $500. Hurry! Up to 50% off selected Australian-made mattresses and ensembles for a limited time only at Harvey Norman.
Go! Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Welcome back. A driver has been charged following a crash on the Pacific Highway after 47 kilos of cannabis and $39,000 spilled from his ute onto the motorway. Paramedics treated the 37-year-old Queensland man following the crash at Ourimbah yesterday before he was arrested. Police also found 7 firearms, ammunition and cocaine. Fresh violence has erupted in Paris. Locals angry at new laws aimed at restricting police scrutiny in the media. Dozens of people were injured in the mayhem. President Macron is now coming under increasing pressure to back down.
The French call them casseurs, hoodlums who caused chaos, damaging stores, torching cars and targeting police. A second weekend of protests in Paris and across France, often peaceful as thousands marched, but at times violent as hundreds of hooded agitators infiltrated the crowds. Dozens were arrested, many were injured as police used tear gas to clear the streets. French President Emmanuel Macron is pressing ahead with plans to restrict the circulation of images of police in the media and online, banning the broadcast of videos like this, allegedly showing police brutality.
I took a hit from a truncheon by a riot policeman, which broke my neck. Since then, I've been scared of police.
We're heading towards an increasingly significant limitation of freedom, which is absolutely unjustified.
The legislation is now being rewritten.
D'ordre moral.
President Macron this week denied he's limiting people's freedoms and disputes claims French police are institutionally racist, but it's doing little to quell the anger in France or the violence that often follows. In London, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
An inferno has destroyed one of New York City's oldest sites. A huge blaze engulfed a historic 19th century church in Manhattan's East Village. Inside was New York's Liberty Bell, which rang to mark the birth of America in 1776. It's also rung for the inauguration and death of every US president. The bell is yet to be recovered, but church officials hope it still can be saved. 4 firefighters were injured in the battle to bring the blaze under control. A daredevil has climbed a Spanish skyscraper without any safety ropes or equipment. 20-year-old Englishman George King scaled the 33-storey Agbar Tower in Barcelona. He free-climbed a London high-rise last year, which landed him a stint behind bars. King says he made this climb to spread some festive cheer. It was a history-making mission that ended successfully in the Aussie outback this morning. A Japanese space capsule making a perfect landing, carrying samples from an asteroid along with potential clues about the origins of our solar system.
After 6 years in space and travelling billions of kilometres, the Hayabusa 2 space capsule is finally back home on planet Earth.
The capsule is separating or not.
After making a dramatic entrance, creating a giant fireball across the sky, this is what scientists recovered from the capsule after a perfect landing in the Woomera prohibited area, 400 kilometres north of Adelaide, early this morning. Inside, samples from Ryugu, a 4.5 billion-year-old asteroid, which will help scientists study the origin and evolution of the solar system.
I'm happy now, of course, but it's more like feeling really relieved, you know. I think we now have lived up to the expectation of all my friends all over the world.
Not only is this an incredible scientific feat, the landing also cements Australia's place as a trusted partner in space. It's hoped our help with this mission will lead to more otherworldly work with international counterparts.
We're just proud to be doing a little bit to support your team.
Thank you for your help. It had to be Woomera.
Your team has been fantastic, so big congratulations from Australia.
Thank you very much.
As for the Hayabusa 2 spacecraft, it's now off to explore yet another asteroid. Its expected arrival 2031. Elise Baker, 7 News.
All weekend, police have been blitzing the state's waterways in a safety crackdown. Coming up, checks and breath tests. What had officers pleased? Tributes to two fathers who died trying to rescue their children. The cash injection helping more women get their new businesses up and running. And a novelty one day, a pain the next. The efforts to clean up this mess.
I sincerely hope someone has died.
We believe it may have been murder.
Bring me facts. The evidence is right there in front of you.
This is my favourite part. We're off to catch the culprit.
I imagine you want to know why.
Worth asking a question.
What did you think of the ending?
The ending was marvellous, moving, touching.
Well, I can't think of any other way it could have happened. Can you?
There's one place you can piece together all the great British mysteries. Here's a clue.
Hi guys, Michael Weldon here. Tonight's What's for Dinner is all about an Aussie classic way of cooking, the barbecue. It's all about getting outside, firing the barbie up and cooking for those people that you love. So tonight we're going to make a little bit of a festive inspired dish, a pork and peach skewer with a beautiful peach glaze. The first thing we need to do is start our glaze. I'm going to put a pot on, medium high heat, and we're going to add in a nice drizzle of olive oil. And then into that we're going to add in diced onion. So we're going to fry up our onion. Once that starts to soften, we're going to add in our aromats. So we've got cumin seed, coriander seed, and some dried chili flakes. Add in a little pinch of salt to help bring all the flavour together. And then we can go in with our peaches. Just chopped up, seeds removed. Now to our glazed ingredients, we're going to add just some sugar to help turn it into a nice glaze, and when it cooks to give you that nice caramelisation. And then a good splash of apple cider vinegar. Now, we just want to simmer this until all those peaches are nice and soft. While that happens, we're going to make our skewers. So I've got some beautiful pork shoulder here, 800 grams, diced up. All I then do is start threading our pork onto our skewers. And then I've got some nice slices of peach and some little red onion petals. And I reckon you can agree that's a pretty cool looking skewer, perfect for the barbecue, nice, summery and fresh. I'm going to keep skewering these guys. I'm going to cook this glaze down until it's all soft. I'll blend it, I'll take these skewers and I'll meet you guys outside on the barbecue and show you how to cook it. So our skewers are ready. You can see pork, peach, red onion all on there. We've made our glaze. I've just drizzled these in olive oil, seasoned them with a little bit of salt. And all you want to do is once you've got them on the barbie, just give them a little paste with your glaze. And then every time you turn, you give them a nice little glaze until you've got a beautiful charred, caramelised glaze. 8 skewers is going to easily feed 4 people. And in half an hour for less than $20, you've got a really quick and easy midweek meal. Serve them with a little side of the beautiful, crisp baby lettuce leaves and some cucumber. Dress it with a little bit of lemon. There you have a lovely What's for Dinner dish. For this recipe and loads of others, make sure you check out coles.com.au. These pork skewers are What's for Dinner. Guys, have a beautiful festive season, and as always, happy eating.
Welcome back. A man has been charged over an unprovoked attack on an Uber driver in Surrey Hills. The 23-year-old is accused of getting in the driver's car while it was stopped at traffic lights on Crown Street last night. He didn't have a booking, and it's alleged he threatened the driver before punching him in the head. Police arrested and searched the man, allegedly finding drugs. There has been an outpouring of grief following the death of 2 fathers who drowned while trying to save their children from rough surf on the Sunshine Coast yesterday afternoon. The men, both aged in their 30s, have been hailed as heroes, so too the strangers who desperately tried to help.
Fathers and husbands remembered as heroes. The family road trip started off with happy memories along the popular camping spot. But that all changed when Denny J. Kabala and Richard Capbagan ran into dangerous surf to rescue their children at Tiwa Beach.
It's a very selfless act. They understood what potentially could have been, and unfortunately the worst of the worst did happen.
Frantic family members waved down Brock and Alana Harris, who were driving past.
I saw a man in front of me in the distance, but I'd kind of just lost him in the waves.
The 23-year-old and other bystanders managed to find the two men and swim a 9-year-old boy and a third man to safety. But Brock says he's only alive after his pregnant partner swam out to him on a boogie board.
The rips were just taking everybody, so I didn't want to risk losing Brock.
On the isolated and unpatrolled beach, they tried desperately to revive the men.
My heart honestly goes out to each and every one of them. I wish I could give them another big hug.
Including the 9-year-old who was treated at the scene after losing his dad. He was taken to the Sunshine Coast University Hospital and has since been released. Brock and Alana have also praised the other bystanders who helped. Incredibly, there were off-duty doctors, nurses, a firefighter, as well as a surf lifesaver who'd been camping nearby. In a tribute online, Richard's wife says, "I love you so much. Goodbye, our hero." Marlena Wapp, 7 News.
Police are cracking down on bad boating behaviour, promising to target those breaking the rules this summer. Officers were out in force over the weekend, and while most boaties are off to a good start, dozens have been slapped with hefty fines.
A compliance crackdown on our waterways.
It's been stopping these safety checks and breath tests. Who's passed it today?
Police out in force for a statewide summer safety blitz.
1, 2, 3, 4.
These boats free to go, but others handed hefty fines during this weekend's high-visibility Operation Armada.
Oh, sorry, didn't know that.
More than 100 officers across the state targeting dangerous behaviour and testing for not-so-sober skippers.
Okay, just blow like you're blowing a balloon.
Thankfully, no positive tests were returned, but 60 infringement notices were issued, mostly for speeding, not having the right safety equipment and failing to wear a life jacket.
We know this is going to be a very busy summer across our waterways. Licence applications are up. The purchase of stand-up paddle boards, jet skis. You can't buy jet skis until October next year.
While this operation ends tonight, police say their blitz on bad boating behaviour will continue throughout the summer, targeting vessels big and small and promising a zero-tolerance approach.
You will be booked or you will be arrested and charged with those offences.
Amber Laidler, 7 News.
A woman is dead and 3 other people seriously injured after a horror crash on a Perth freeway. The 39-year-old lost control of her motorcycle, slamming into a guard barrier before her bike burst into flames. 2 other riders tried to avoid the burning wreckage but lost control themselves. A man, his female passenger and another woman were rushed to hospital. They had all been part of a Christmas charity toy run when they crashed. Despite a big push to support local businesses, the federal government concedes that startups run by women face many more challenges than ones set up by men. So the industry minister is stepping in, offering a financial lifeline, hoping to give more female entrepreneurs the chance to grow.
Reaching a new generation through new technology.
Thought, wow, imagine we could tell the right story at the right time in the right place if you just held your mobile phone up to a cultural site.
Michaela Jade is helping students in remote communities learn from elders about Indigenous culture through augmented reality, Minecraft and coding.
I've almost quit the company 3 times and I've had to go back to being a park ranger twice.
Partnering with tech giants Microsoft and Telstra after being rejected by investors as too high risk.
Because we were female, because we were Indigenous, because we're working in cutting edge tech and because we're doing this from regional and remote communities.
Schools with her program have fewer students skipping class and more taking coding lessons in school holidays. It's one of 51 female-founded startups receiving government grants of up to $480,000.
Female-founded businesses really struggle to get the capital that they need to grow, so the government has stepped in.
Also backing 23-year-old Stephanie Weiss, a biomedical engineering student helping women with breast cancer.
To make them feel more confident, give them their dignity back.
Printing breast prostheses for women who've had mastectomies, personalised to fit their bodies.
If I can change the lives of some of these women, that would just make me feel so good.
The government says it's committed to helping grow local businesses to boost jobs and drive the nation's economic recovery, so Australia's less reliant on international supply chains.
It's a key part of our comeback from COVID.
Empowering more women to start their own venture.
We can do this. We're totally investable.
Olivia Leeming, 7 News.
A tricky clean-up is underway in Melbourne's northwest, with dozens of homes still covered by tumbleweeds. What was first a bit of a novelty has now become a fight between residents and the local council.
It's a mess so big it's almost impossible to clean up. One of Australia's worst weeds, overwhelming dozens of houses in Hillside.
I don't know what to say, it's a disaster.
Residents helpless to stop it against strong winds. Some piled it into bags and bins. One man filled 47 large bags overnight. Today, even the bags were still on the move in gusty winds as the grass swirled and settled in more front and backyards, balconies and playgrounds.
It's in every tree, every branch. I can't even see my dogs walking through it.
Other neighbourhood pets were confused or getting used to new bedding. Darren Camilleri slowly transformed his backyard back to normal.
It's been a nightmare. Been up since 6 o'clock this morning trying to get rid of some of this stuff.
The problem is it's so light and fluffy that you can do your best to clean it up, but then a gust of wind comes and brings a whole new load back.
I ring up every year to the council to get this burnt off and no one does nothing about it.
Melton Council says it will help clean up, although it doesn't know its source. But the weeds are largely from paddocks managed by Michael Tyquin. He says the seeds are coming from a neighbour's paddocks and the council won't help.
I've tried to work with them for years.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
The Great Barrier Reef has exploded to life. Up next, coral spawning described as a breeding snowstorm. The incredible pictures. Extended trading for Sydney pubs and clubs. When and for how long they'll be able to stay open. The big clean-up after a severe storm slams the state's central west.
Soon in sport, another big name out for the Aussies against India as a potential replacement stakes his claim.
And if you enjoyed today, there's another round in store tomorrow. A cool change isn't far behind though. Details soon.
In the countdown to Christmas, Better Homes gave to me heaps of yummy food, festive decorations, crazy Christmas trees and loads more ideas and recipes. We've got every minute of Christmas covered. Merry Christmas! Better Homes Countdown to Christmas starts Monday on 7.
This Christmas, share succulent, award-winning Woolworths half-leg ham. 100% Australian pork, now just $9 a kilo. Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Tonight, I'll be eating a deconstructed chicken and leek pie with twice roasted potatoes. Legend. All right then, let's get you spayed.
Experience the power of fragrance, infused with essential oils, with Airwick Essential Mist. At Nurofen, we know demanding lives can cause headaches, but pain should never be in charge of your day. Unleash the speed of liquid with Nurofen's Advanced Liquid Capsules. You do the full-on day, we'll sort the pain out fast.
This is the Dyson Corral Straightener with manganese copper alloy plates that flex, shape and gather for enhanced styling with less damage. Dyson Corral.
Look at you, no braces and all the internet you can handle. I wasn't so lucky.
Invis is not your parents' braces. Invis is predictable, less painful, more comfortable. Invisalign.
Witches, they're real, and they hate children.
Grandma, is that you, boy? She's gonna turn every kid into a mouse.
Exterminate those brats. Rats.
Welcome back. Dubbo has been smashed by a severe storm. Wind gusts of up to 120 kilometres an hour wreaked havoc. Roofs were ripped off, fences and sheds flattened, and many more buildings left badly damaged. Aluminium panels even ended up lodged in tree branches. A major clean-up got underway today as crews worked to restore power. Pubs and clubs will be able to close later during major events next year thanks to a state government move to help the industry recover from the pandemic. Instead of closing at 10 p.m. on Sundays, hospitality venues will be able to stay open until midnight. The extended trading hours will apply when events like Vivid and the NRL Grand Final are on. The Great Barrier Reef has come alive in what's been described as an underwater breeding snowstorm, and it started right on cue. Scientists are closely tracking the annual coral spawning, with the reef's regeneration crucial to its long-term survival.
When the moon sets the mood and the waters are warm, Mother Nature takes over and there's sex on the reef.
Pretty much corals are having babies.
Timing is everything for this perfectly coordinated act.
When we jumped in the water last night, we were met with an underwater snowstorm of just tiny pinhead-sized bundles containing both sperm and egg.
Scientists still can't predict exactly where and when the spawning will happen.
When you see the eggs come out and the sperm come out from the rocks, you realise that it actually is a living organism.
It lasts for 3 nights and only happens once a year. The new life is essential to the Great Barrier Reef's regeneration and recovery.
The stronger corals go on to live, they sort of pass on their genes, and so it helps to provide a stronger reef.
Which is more important than ever after the reef experienced its 3rd mass bleaching in 5 years.
Scientists have called this year's event spectacular and say it's the best coral spawning they've seen in more than a decade.
We actually lost count of the amount of different species that were spawning at the same time.
Ready for round 2 tonight. Georgia Terry, 7 News.
For so long, Sydney pet owners have struggled to rent homes that welcomed them and their 4-legged loved ones. Coming up, the new development that's actually being built with dogs in mind. How the market is changing. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with Sport. Mel, Tim Payne has plenty to think about.
He does, Fergo. The Aussie Test captain had a bird's eye view as Australia A took on India at Drummoyne Oval. Highlights up next. Plus, worrying signs from the Wallabies after another disastrous draw. Why they say things are looking up. And an exclusive with a coach whisperer who comes clean on the secret to so much success across multiple footy codes.
Dive in to an endless summer of stars with 7plus.
It's always fun watching you flail around in a courtroom.
1, 2, 3, 4, show me what you got.
I love you, Ally McBeal.
You know I ain't never gonna stop.
It's not like I look bad naked.
Show me what you got.
911, what's your emergency?
The shows you love.
You're a part of this family.
Plus sizzling new dramas.
You shouldn't have kissed me.
Means your next obsession is right here.
Show me what you got.
Streaming for free on 7plus.
Who will you make happy today?
La Vie est Belle, the iconic fragrance. Lancôme.
Discover your signature scent. Go fast or go slow. Go imagine your journey. Go up, go down, go around the long way, go directly, or go off on a tangent. And sometimes go where you least expect to. The X1. Go there.
At Macca's, your favourite frozen Coke now comes with a twist. There's 8 delicious flavours to try. So grab yours today for just $1, only at Macca's.
Experience the power of fragrance, infused with essential oils, with Airwick Essential Mist.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort of their own home. And now, we're also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000, just in time for Christmas. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having Light and Easy's delicious, healthy meals delivered to their door, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call us on 13 15 12.
For a better gift this Christmas, go to your local still dealer, where you'll find tools that are hard to wrap but easy to give, like blowers and grass trimmers from only $1.99. Find your local dealer at stilldealers.com.au.
Plush Sofa's super sale is now on, with buy one, get one free and 48 months interest free. Shop in showroom or online.
Save up to 15% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz Comprehensive Car Insurance policy online. And join thousands of satisfied Allianz customers. Search for your quote today.
Right now you could win. Tonight's code word is tinsel. To enter, visit 7news.com.au/carols and watch 7 News for more chances to win.
Welcome back. Mitchell Starc's summer is in doubt after he left the Australian team's bubble to support his father, who is seriously ill. But the backup fired on the opening day of the Test dress rehearsal between the Indians and Australia A, led by James Pattinson.
Will Pekowski had to wait. Locked-out fans had to watch a near-Test standard tour match through the Drummoyne Oval fence. Australia's fringe paceman struck crucial early blows.
Is that the first wicket of the match? It is.
Nisa and Pattinson removed Shubman Gill and Prithvi Shaw for ducks. Two hyped young guns denied critical time at the crease. Cameron Green impressed with the ball.
Look at that carry through.
But Pujara and Rahana carried on from last tour. Plenty to ponder for Tim Payne.
Lovely shot, bit of a flourish.
Pujara fell to Pattinson for 54.
Got him, out!
That's straight into the plans for the first Test, and Pattinson's ready to rumble if required.
Pattinson likes it and it's given.
And he might be needed, with the out-of-sorts Mitchell Starc now on leave due to a family illness 11 days before the series starts in Adelaide. Rahana, who'll replace Virat Kohli as Indian captain after the first Test, started his tour with a classy ton. Unbeaten after a day that whets the appetite for the big contest.
It's a big appeal, it's out.
New Zealand knocked over the West Indies.
Bolden straight through.
Victory by an innings and 134 runs in their first Test. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
The Wallabies are pleading with fans burned many times before to keep the faith. The Tri-Nations finale will always be remembered for the special rendition of the national anthem. But it went downhill from there. A Test match spoilt by contentious yellow cards, a red card and a performance the Wallabies admit was not close to good enough. 16-all, their second straight draw with the depleted Argentina. It left Australia with one win from their first 6 Tests under coach Dave Rennie.
It has been really good, but without results it doesn't show to everyone else, and you know we're desperate for that.
We've got so much more in us, and looking forward to showing that next year.
After recovering from COVID, Semi Radradra finally got to captain Fiji. And the man who should have been a Wallaby, Nemani Nandolo, scored a hat-trick in their 38-24 win over Georgia. The West Tigers are set to say goodbye to controversial 5'8" Josh Reynolds, who will reportedly join English Super League side Hull FC in the next 24 hours. Reynolds managed only 22 games over 3 seasons for the Tigers after crossing over from the Bulldogs on a 4-year, $3 million contract. Manchester United are back in the Premier League top 4 after another comeback win against West Ham. With coronavirus restrictions eased in London, the Hammers became the first side to welcome back fans in 9 months. But they wouldn't have liked what they saw.
Step back for Pogba. Oh, what a finish from Paul Pogba. That's what he can do. It's a stunning goal.
United scored 3 second-half goals in 13 minutes as they ran out 3-1 winners. Timo Werner somehow missed from point-blank range, but it didn't stop Chelsea from moving top of the table with a 3-1 win over Leeds. Sam Ricciardo sent sparks flying in qualifying for the Sakir Grand Prix, but the Aussie could only manage 7th on the grid.
I felt definitely the car was there for a top 5. We just got to understand probably where it went wrong.
Lewis Hamilton's replacement George Russell continues to impress, qualifying in 2nd for tonight's race, only fractions of a second behind Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas. World Rally Championship leader Elfyn Evans all but gave up the title after crashing out in an icy and dangerous second last stage of the season.
You okay? You okay?
Yeah, the Italian Alps proved treacherous for the drivers, but provided a good photo op for the spectators. The mystery man who mentors Australia's greatest coaching talent has finally revealed his methods. Bradley Charles Stubbs, the coach whisperer with many sceptics, but also lauded as the secret weapon in 15 titles across 3 codes. Tonight he lets his guard down in a 7 News exclusive.
Controversial, intense, a 2-time mental institution escapee, and incredibly successful.
We've made a pact. If we didn't win the grand final, I'd cut my finger off, and so would Michael Maguire.
Fortunately, South Sydney won in 2014, 3 months after Maguire hired Stubbs.
Still got them all.
A family man with a 30-year marriage and 3 children.
I truly believe in the way he thinks, and I've always been like that, and I truly believe in what the universe provides.
Kevin Walters used him despite fierce criticism, while Checker, Jones, Arnold, Robinson, Maguire all won silverware with Stubbs.
I get them to believe so strong that they actually can see a result before it happens.
Such as the time he and Arnold visualised a 6-0 victory over Perth the day before their clash.
Well, it wasn't only one time in Perth, 6-0. There was another time in Adelaide, beating Adelaide United 4-0.
What it does to the subconscious mind, it creates a frequency, and that frequency actually increases the oxygen to the blood.
Just ask Trent Robinson, who sought out Stubbs in 2017.
Bradley's got an ability to push you on the way that you look at the positivity of the situation you're in, sort of the belief that you project.
And when I first started working with Trent, I had a vision. I told him we'd win 3 in a row, and sometimes you miss out on things. So, we did 2.
He's seen as someone quite different and extreme, but if you spend any time with him, then you'll understand where he comes from.
His heart towards people, his compassion. Wow, just talking about Trent, it's very emotional.
People who don't know him judge him, and that's upsetting for me.
He got me to go from crossing my arms on the sideline watching games to get not crossing my arms anymore because it cuts off the energy to the players.
I really think I've done nothing yet. I feel like I'm just starting.
Chris Garrett, 7 News.
Fascinating insight there, Fergo. As we say, plenty of sceptics, but a lot of big names on board. Just think positively.
A very positive approach. OK, Mel, thank you. Dog owners will tell you that getting into a rental that accepts pets is harder than it sounds. But a new development is hoping to change all that, built especially for animal lovers. It comes with all the perks their furry friends will love.
At this Hurstville development past the airport, a strata rule with a difference. Pets aren't just welcome, they're encouraged here. The property by TQM designed with pet owners in mind, complete with a dog park, obstacle course and wash station.
It's so difficult to find somewhere, particularly apartments, that are pet friendly.
For mum of little Anakin, it's been a hard road finding a home for her 10-month-old cattle dog. Until now.
It's got its own washing station, lots of toys and obstacles. I think Anakin's going to love it.
For the developers, it's a niche market that is paying dividends.
It's very important to have the welfare of the animals front and centre, and this development caters to that. The market has spoken and they're receiving this very well.
Construction now underway on the 120 apartment complex with work to be finished by 2023. Cameron Price, 7 News.
Now Angie's here with the forecast. Angie, Monday is sounding spot on.
Mark, warm, sunny with low humidity. Your comprehensive forecast is coming up.
He's trying to protect the most hunted man in the world, Ryan Reynolds. Denzel Washington, Safe House, tonight on 7.
Whole grains, aren't they great? That's why we put every single bit of these grains into our snacks. Delicious. Grain Waves, a whole lot of whole grains in every bite.
This is the Dyson Corral Straightener with manganese copper alloy plates. Invented to flex, shape, and gather for enhanced styling. with less damage. And even without a cord. Dyson Corral.
This Christmas, pick up Lindt Lindor pouches, 80 to 125 grams. Perfect for sharing or gifting. Now just $6 each. Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Loving you is easy. Loving you is never a pain in the guts.
Fresh, natural Simmel. The easy-to-digest milk.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you, so you can enjoy it at home, fast, safe and contact-free. Search Macca's website for your local delivery partner.
At Spotlight, life's what you make it. VIPs save a further 20% off when you purchase the entire vault of fabric, plus massive rugs clearance sale from $39 each, so you can make it, roll it and decorate it for less. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
You want me to help you and your buddies to beat up your grandsons because the two of you can't live in the same house? I'm in.
I want my room back.
The War with Grandpa in cinemas now. Here at Amart Furniture, the prices are falling on a huge range, including this stylish queen bed and up to 50% off big brand mattresses. So get in quickly. Amart Furniture, it just makes sense.
Dad, I hit somebody.
Don't tell anyone, not ever. You've got your whole life ahead of you. We decide what the truth is.
The brand new event series, Your Honour, premieres tomorrow, only on Stan.
Morning.
Hi.
Don't let hay fever control your life. Choose Telfast, Australia's #1 allergy brand from Chemist Warehouse. It provides fast, non-drowsy relief from hay fever symptoms. So shut the door on hay fever and open up your world with Telfast.
I saw them. I knew they were gone.
The most powerful story of the year.
Half your family in one go.
What you will see will touch every Australian.
These 4 kids are special.
7 News presents In the Blink of an Eye. Next.
This weather report brought to you by Telfast, available from Chemist Warehouse.
The wannabe thief, trapped by her own stupidity. Brazen home reno thieves costing us $1.5 million every day on 7 News, Monday.
Tonight's 7 News headlines. Police admit they're to blame after allowing 2 overseas travellers to bypass hotel quarantine, allowing them to fly to Melbourne. Canberra Raiders hooker Tom Starling has been charged with assaulting police following a wild brawl on the Central Coast. A man has been arrested accused of deliberately running down a cyclist in Newcastle. And a Western Sydney teenager says she still feels like she's dreaming after singing our anthem in the Eora language, the first time that's happened on the international stage. Now, the latest on our weather, here's Angie.
Thanks very much, Mark. Well, unlike this time yesterday, it is a very settled evening across Sydney as we enter a period of fine, clear days ahead. Today was quite hot. We reached a top of 30.7 degrees, but it generally didn't feel quite that warm given a decent breeze was present throughout the day. Westerly winds ensured a more dry heat, but also levelled out temperatures across the suburbs. So Manly reached 31 degrees, as did Penrith, Cronulla, the airport, and Norah Head were the warmest at 32. Any isolated showers and storms across the state are being fuelled by a trough stretching all the way from WA and into northern New South Wales, while a cold westerly airstream is pushing into the state's far southeast. Here in the middle, it is clear and settled. That burst of cool air in the southeast will cause temperatures in southern states to drop. For us, it's going to be icy in the snowy mountains with some summer snow showers possible. So let's take a look at that cool change nationally. A top of just 17 degrees forecast for Hobart tomorrow, 18 for Melbourne, along with with some showers. Canberra aiming for a top of 19, much warmer for Brisbane, 34 degrees, and a warm one for Perth as well, 33, the forecast top there. Back home, there's that snow for Thredbo, a top of just 3 degrees tomorrow. That precipitation is going to fall as light showers on the south coast at Eden and Bateman's Bay, with some stormy weather up north. Again, generally settled throughout that middle belt. For Sydney, the fine conditions roll on tomorrow. It is going to be another warm one. Tops in the 30s or very close to high 20s on the coast. But with northwesterly winds, it shouldn't be too humid. We're heading for a gusty 22 degrees for Katoomba. On the water, winds will tend northwest to northeasterly during the morning. By evening, they'll be stronger at 25 knots and run in a west-southwesterly direction. So wind warnings tomorrow cover the Byron and Coffs Coast as well as the Illawarra coast. On land, some strong winds in the small yellow area here represent the Snowy Mountains. For the city, a low of 18 degrees forecast for us tonight, ahead of a very warm top of 30 degrees and big blue skies. For the week ahead, we are heading towards a cool change pushing through on Tuesday. Then we'll see a top of 22 degrees in the city, 26 for our west. Warmer, although pleasant temperatures returning for us about midweek. Very much average for December. And it will be fine until Thursday when we start to see just a few very light showers develop. Not too much in that, but for now, a beautiful few days on the way for us. Mel and Mark.
Great start of the working week.
Sure is.
Thank you, Angie. That is 7 News for this Sunday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.